The night had passed in restless dreams for May. The weight of her decision lingered heavily on her, but she knew she needed more time, more answers. Silas had saved her life, and despite her fear, there was something about him she couldn't shake. Maybe it was gratitude, or maybe it was something deeper. Either way, she wasn't ready to turn her back on him just yet. Early the next morning, May sat in Elara's cluttered kitchen. The witch's cottage smelled of dried herbs and incense, and the air hummed with quiet magic. Elara paced nervously, her fingers twisting a strand of her dark hair. "You're sure about this?" Elara asked, glancing at May. "I've never done a spell like this before." "What you're asking, it's dangerous." May nodded, though the knot in her stomach tightened. "I know. But I need to talk to him in the daylight, Elara. I can't keep meeting him at night, it's too risky. If I'm going to figure out what's going on, I need to know if he's telling the truth." Elara sighed, her eyes darting toward the window. "There's one thing that could work, but it's not easy. I'll need something personal, something of yours." May hesitated, then reached up and pulled a strand of her hair free. "Will this do?" Elara nodded and took the hair. "I'll bind it into a bracelet. It should help Silas stay in the sun for short periods, but it won't last forever." "Anne." "May, be careful. I'm still learning. If something goes wrong." May placed a hand on Elara's arm, offering a small smile. "I trust you." By evening, the bracelet was ready. A simple piece of silver, woven with a single strand of May's hair. Elara handed it to her with a nervous look. "It'll only work for a few hours each day," Elara explained. "He'll have to put it on right before sunrise. After that, it's up to you." May took the bracelet, her heart pounding in her chest. The idea of seeing Silas in the daylight both thrilled and terrified her. She wasn't sure what she was more afraid of, the darkness that lurked around him, or the light that might reveal who he truly was. The next morning, May waited at the edge of the forest, the bracelet clutched in her hand. She wasn't sure if Silas would come, but she knew she had to try. Her pulse quickened as the first rays of sunlight peeked over the trees. Then, out of the shadows, Silas appeared. He moved cautiously, his golden eyes scanning the area before settling on May. "You've returned." May nodded, stepping forward. "I have something for you," she said quietly, holding out the bracelet. "It will let you walk in the sunlight, for a little while." Silas's eyes flickered with something May couldn't quite read. He took the bracelet and hesitated for a moment before slipping it onto his wrist. As the sun climbed higher, May held her breath, waiting to see what would happen. To her amazement, Silas didn't retreat into the shadows. The sunlight touched his skin, and though he flinched at first, he didn't burn. "It's working," May whispered, her heart racing. Silas gave her a small, cautious smile. "You trusted me." "I had to," May said, though doubt still gnawed at her. "But I need to know the truth, Silas. Why are you watching me? What's really going on in Ravenwood?" Silas's smile faded, and he looked away, his eyes dark with centuries of secrets. "I told you, May. I'm cursed, tied to this town. And you're the key to ending it." May stepped closer, her voice trembling. "But why me? What aren't you telling me?" Silas's gaze met hers, and for a moment, the mask he wore seemed to slip. "There are things in this town, May, things older and darker than me. Your family is connected to it. I've been protecting you, keeping you safe from what's out there. But I can't do it alone." As Silas spoke, May's mind raced. She had always known there was something strange about Ravenwood, but she hadn't realized how deep it ran. Silas seemed genuine, but there was still so much she didn't understand. Was he really protecting her, or was there something he wasn't telling her? Her thoughts were interrupted by a knock at the door. Elara appeared, looking more anxious than usual. I found something, Elara said, glancing between May and Silas. My aunt, she might know more about the curse, about you, Silas, and your connection to May. May's heart skipped a beat. Elara's aunt was an experienced witch, far more powerful than Elara herself. If anyone could give them answers, it would be her. Silas stiffened, his eyes narrowing. Your aunt? Elara nodded. She lives out of town, but I can take you both there. She's dealt with curses before. If anyone can help, it's her. May looked at Silas, her mind racing. This could be their chance to finally break the curse, to end the nightmare that had been haunting them both. But something about Silas's reaction unsettled her. Why was he so tense at the mention of Elara's aunt? Was there something more he wasn't telling her? I'll go, May said quietly. We need to know the truth. Silas hesitated, then nodded. Very well. But be careful, May. There are forces at work here that even I don't fully understand. May nodded, clutching the bracelet tightly. Whatever secrets lay ahead, she knew one thing for sure, she couldn't turn back now. To be continued.